This right here is the Pentax WG-8. It's an adventure-proof camera by Ricoh Pentax that shoots 4K video and 20 megapixel still photos. I think it makes a really good companion for your GR camera, especially if it's a GR3 like this one here. They use the same battery, and the UI of the camera is the same as the GR, and the base focal length is 28mm, but you get 4x3 instead of 3x2 here. On a much smaller sensor that puts date stamps on your photos and also has positive film. Isn't this cool? Let's take a look. Oh, maybe not that close. Here. It turns on, you can set it up with the sound of a puppy. Isn't that fun? In video mode, you can choose 4K or 1080p or 720p. In the lower resolution settings, you're able to get a higher frame rate. But let's start with the photos, since we brought up the GR thing. I've set up my user 1 and user 2, kind of like you have on a GR. We have user 1, user 2, and 3, to be my positive film and my black and white on 28mm. The black and white is also really nice. Let's take a look at that. It's somewhat film-like and contrasty and nice detail with this sensor. This is a 2024 camera, so this is modern technology and processing on the inside of this happening. And just to show you the positive film one more time. This is really nice. So for you GR owners, just a nice addition to have in your other pocket for, I don't know, parties, gatherings with friends, where kids are around, animals are around, you know, dogs drool on things. With this, you're not worried about it. This is life-proof. You can just rinse it off and go about the rest of your day. I want to jump right into one of the coolest features here. You see that? It looks like a microscope because it is. It turns on the front ring light. And let me just grab my pocket knife here. Regular pocket knife. And look how close you can get. This is not macro. This is beyond macro at this point. And it comes, by the way, with this ring that you can put on. It's a spacer, basically, that adds a little bit of distance between the front of the lens and what you're placing it on. And look how close we're seeing. This is incredibly close. Beyond that, I can zoom in, and you'll see we get even closer. There's a bit of digital zoom involved as well, but look at the detail on that. Very close, very fun. You can shoot all sorts of textures with this. Look, let's catch a little corner here and see what happens. This is the closest it gets. And I think it's just fun thing to have. You dig into different textures and surfaces. Flowers, of course, you know, works wonders on anything like flowers, any sort of textured surface. I'm just going to pull up a couple of examples here. Here's a shot I did on a flower. And let's go over to this one. This is a home pod. You can see inside of the threads of it and everything. Just to kind of go back to the positive film image quality, I mean, look at that. I was just driving through Hollywood, and this is what you get. It's very, very, very nice colors. Quite excellent. Now, the video setup on this is also very convenient because not only do you have your zoom that you can start with. It doesn't allow you to use the full range of the optical zoom after you hit record. You are bound to digital zoom once you hit record on video. I don't know, maybe they'll fix that hopefully in like an update. But beyond that, the video quality and stabilization is quite nice, and the digital zoom is not terrible. You know, I'd rather set my focal length beforehand with this and then start shooting. But as you can see, the stabilization is pretty smooth, and it has 2 levels of stabilization. I think at the moment I just have the regular one active. There's a SR and then an SR plus that crops in a little bit more by itself, and then that's really, really smooth. This is all digital stabilization. I think it does also have sensor shift. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. I haven't looked it up. Another really cool thing about this camera is, if you're like me, I just showed you my photos on an iPad, it has GPS built in. So much like the photos you take on your iPhone, they'll be tagged with the exact location that shows up conveniently on the map once you pull down or up, I forget, whichever it is on your iPad, and it shows it to you on the map. Really cool. And look, it shows that the GPS is active. You have GPS lock, which helps it if it's not getting enough signal. The GPS lock basically defaults the GPS recorded onto the photo, the GPS location recorded onto the photo to the latest it had, closest to where you are. So that's also really convenient. Overall, it's a really smart camera with a ton of features, and you can customize it. So, for example, I've set up this red button, which you can set up to just immediately start shooting video, by the way, which is also cool. I've set it up to be the equivalent of the adjust button or the quick menu on the Ricoh GR. So it brings up my EV compensation, which I don't have a specific button for, ISO, AF area, as well as my film simulations, which, by the way, you have positive film. It's called slide film here. Black and white monochrome. There is vibrant, which is sort of like a vivid, but with brighter shadows. And then standard and bright, which is like your typical vivid. I pretty much just use positive film and black and white. As I showed you before, you can set them up on the custom modes like this. You can even set up a focal length. So if you save it sort of zoomed in like this, once you go to U1 the next time, it will automatically zoom in. So it will have you ready with that focal length that you have. And you see, as I just switched, it went back to 28 millimeters. One of the other positive things about this is that it is a 28 millimeter base focal length. So once you're zoomed out all the way, you have access to this unique 28 millimeter look, which you can utilize with flash, black and white, and date stamp at the bottom. And it's the coolest look you can have as you're going around. Well, let me get another one where you can see the date stamp at the bottom. It's so fun. It's just so fun. You can add your name and a date stamp, and the look is incredible. I know this is like, you know, adventure camera advertised as the type of thing you're supposed to take, I don't know, I guess in rivers and in underwater and stuff, but I think it does very well for an everyday snap camera. And the amount of detail in metadata that you get inside of these is also kind of incredible. I think this is how you see them. Yeah. So, you know, of course, all your regular data, but you get your focal length metadata, as well as, well, I guess I don't have GPS turned on for this particular mode, but if you do, it will also record all of that. Just to show you the focal length metadata change as well. It's kind of cool to have that. You know, later on your iPad, you go look at the photos, you can see, oh yeah, this was at 77 millimeters. Very cool. So this is pretty much all I have to say about this camera. Let me just look at my notes real quick, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. In the meantime, I'll say, please hit like and subscribe to this channel. I will have more about cameras, different kinds of cameras. If you like these tough kind of cameras, I just released another video on the much older but very, very cool still Lumix TS4. And click through my channel, watch that. I have a bunch of GR videos. That's kind of my main thing, because the Ricoh GR3 is my main camera that I kind of like make my work with. Thank you so much for watching. I will have affiliate links in the description down below for relevant stuff. So yeah, tune in next time. See you soon. Cheers.